All right. Looks good. Everything looks good. Looks good to me. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 50 of Gear Talk. 50 episodes of me sitting around talking about nerdy rollerblading information. This is the show that I do every other week where I talk about the geekier side of rollerblading. I started this because I was looking for a way to just talk about skates. And, we do a podcast every other week. Apologies for not getting in this week. I had a really busy week last week. We had a lot of new products come in, and I was so busy shipping. This Corona-19 COVID thing has been... it's been crazy for business. It's been crazy for skating. I'm sure that you've seen the traffic on Facebook groups and on Reddit. And everywhere you look, there are people who are rollerblading again. And it is an amazing feeling. Unfortunately, it's been very difficult for shops to keep stuff in stock. I think the Derek Henderson skates came out this week, and I'm pretty sure they're hard to find now. At the same time, the Razors SL Whites came out this week. I don't know how hard those are. They don't have Derek's, seal of approval. But I saw that the USD Bernal skates, the Carbon Freeze, are coming out soon. They just teased that today. It is the perfect time to get these skates out. It would have been better if they released them a month ago when the 909s came out. But there is still a huge demand. I get emails every day asking, where can I find skates? And that is a great sign. It means that there are people who are watching this channel, who are finding rollerblading on the internet, and are curious about getting back into it. So, best thing that you can do as a skater is to go out and skate. Do whatever you can to show your love for rollerblading. If that means going to the skate park, if that means skating around your neighborhood, if that means going downtown and skating with your big wheels, doesn't really matter. Go skate, show off rollerblading, and make sure that everybody sees you skating. So this is Gear Talk. Usually what I do, we do it live on YouTube every other Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you have questions, this is a live show, and I love taking your questions and comments. If you have any questions for me, please let me know in the chat. Tag Back to Blading in there so that I know that there's a question. Otherwise, feel free to talk amongst yourselves if you have questions or if you want to talk with each other. There's a good opportunity for everybody to get together and just middle of the week, air out your grievances, talk about skating stuff, talk about rumors or whatever. But if you do have a question for me, make sure that you tag me in it. If you're listening to this on the podcast, or if you're watching this in a video that's been previously recorded, please leave a comment in the video. I'm always really good about responding to comments. I don't always respond to everything. The comments have gotten a little difficult to maintain, but I will read everything. And if you have something for me, YouTube comments are a great way to get a hold of me. Also email, you can go to backtoblading.com/contact us, and that's where the contact form is that you can get a hold of me. Before we get started, we always like to talk about the Helmet Initiative. So, about a month and a half ago or so, one of my friends got seriously injured with a stupid fall out in front of his house. Ended up in the hospital, is still recovering. I think he is doing great. He is off most of his major medication that kept the swelling down in his brain. But he had some serious issues, and he will have some serious issues for a long time. That is something that he could have avoided if he were wearing a helmet. And I am a huge proponent for helmets. I always wear a helmet in my videos. I support people wearing helmets. I think anybody skating without a helmet kind of taking it too much of a risk. We're not young, we're not kids anymore. We've got responsibilities. Wear your helmet if you go out there. It's important. You are on wheels. You could fall down doing something stupid, and you could hit your head. And if you hit your head, it's a pretty big deal. So about a month and a half ago, I decided that I was going to spend some of the time that I have talking with you and some of the money that I get from the Patreon and from the ads on the videos and reinvest that into the community by giving away a helmet. And I started with just giving away a helmet for every episode of Gear Talk. Every episode I go in and I leave a comment on somebody's comment, and I say, hey, you want a helmet? At the end of every episode, I ask everybody to leave a comment if they want a helmet. No strings attached. This is an opportunity for you to get something just because you watched the show, just because you love rollerblading, and just because you want to be safe, but maybe you can't afford a helmet right now. Totally understandable. I'm not looking for a sob story. I'm not looking for an excuse. I'm just looking for people who legitimately want a helmet and will wear a helmet. It is important that we have more people wearing helmets. If I can keep you safe and if I can help spread the word about helmets, it's important to me. So I was doing that out of my own pocket, out of the Patreon money and out of the AdSense money. I had a few donations, which was amazing and completely unexpected. However, about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I got contacted by a guy named Kurt, who I think is a viewer of the show. I think he skates. Otherwise, he found out about the show some other way. And he reached out and he said, hey, I heard about your helmet thing. I would love to help out. Long story short, Kurt and his wife are involved with a program called the HelmetInitiative.org. They also have a Facebook page, which I recommend that you go take a look at. You can find it in the Helmet Initiative. I'll leave a link to it tomorrow morning, I guess, so that everybody can find it. They are working with companies like 888 to get helmets to people, to replace helmets if they're old, to get more people into helmets. And they wanted to work with me, and they wanted to send me some helmets because, due to COVID, it's hard to go out. They usually have a tent at events, and they say, hey, do you need a helmet? Do you have a helmet? Do you want to replace your helmet? Because they don't have those events right now, they have an abundance of helmets. And what do you do with abundance of helmets? Their mission isn't to go out and give away helmets themselves. Their mission is to get more people to wear helmets. So they found me and they said, hey, we'd love to send you some helmets. And I said, hey, I'd love to have some helmets so that I can give them to people. So today I just got a shipment of, I think 10, maybe 8. I didn't count them. I should have counted them. I think there's 10 of them, maybe 9. Of these 888 certified sweat savers. These are amazing helmets. These are the ones that I bought my daughter. They are maybe a step below the MIPS 888 certified helmet. This is above the sweat saver helmet. If you have an old sweat saver helmet, I think I have one. Oh, it's way buried over there. The sweat saver helmets aren't super safe. They're more cosmetic than anything else. If a park says that you have to wear a helmet, that is a fine helmet to wear. If you are concerned about keeping your head safe, that is not a great helmet. It's not going to do much for preventing a concussion or from preventing serious head trauma. This sort of helmet will. This is the helmet that I recommend. Certified Sweat Saver, they are great helmets. I have a bunch of them to give away. So I have a few people who have already asked for helmets that I have given helmets to, but I haven't shipped them out. Your helmets are here. I will be sending them out this week. If you would like a helmet, all that you have to do is leave a comment and say, I want a helmet. There's no sob story needed. There's no show me a picture of your open head wound. It's just as simple as saying that you want a helmet. People who will really need a helmet say that you want a helmet. If you're not going to wear the helmet, you just want free stuff, don't waste my time. I want to make sure that these go to the right people so that real people who want helmets can get helmets. These are thanks to the Helmet Initiative. So please, if you haven't already, take a look at their Facebook page. Go to the HelmetInitiative.org. I love that they're just doing the right thing. They also had a traumatic situation in their family, in their lives. And it's sad that that's the reason why people realize that helmets are important. But that is the reality of things. And I think if I have this platform where I can talk to thousands of people, it's important for me to say what's on my mind. And right now, helmet safety is super important to me. So if you need a helmet, let me know. Thank you so much to the Helmet Initiative for helping us get helmets into people's houses and on their heads. Really appreciate the support. And please go check out Helmet Initiative at the Facebooks or go to thehelmetinitiative.org and learn more information. All right. So helmets. I know that you're getting sick of me talking about helmets. I know that I start every episode talking about helmets. That's the way it's going to be, kids. Like, I'm very passionate about helmets, and I want to make sure that everybody knows it. So feel free to skip if you've already watched this show before and you know what's coming next. Skip the first 5 minutes of every gear talk, because I'm always going to be talking about helmets. It's super important that people get it through their heads that this is something that you need to be focused on. All right, so beginning of every show after I talk about helmets, of course, I like to talk about the skates that I'm currently riding. And this week I actually got an opportunity to do big wheeling and aggressive. It has been raining a lot here. We are still on lockdown, but I guess we're kind of on lockdown. We're kind of not on lockdown. That's the weird thing right now. We're kind of in this bubble where the amount of cases are still growing, and we're still being recommended to wear masks, and we're still telling people to social distance, but Universal Studios is open. It's just this weird mix of, hey, we're just going to go and do it, like, I don't know. Anyway, I am trying to stay as social distance as I can. I have not gone to any skate parks with people. If I go to a skate park and there are people there, I stay away from them. But I've been able to skate some aggressive in my backyard. I tried to set up a new curb that didn't work so well. So my aggressive skates will be coming, but I also got to skate my big wheels. So today I dropped off my car at the shop to get an inspection and to get some things dialed in. We're going on a trip, so I wanted to make sure that everything was up to date and ready. We had to replace brake pads and things like that. The shop is about 2 miles away, so I was able to skate my big wheels. So this morning I skated the Flying Eagle F7s with the Supersonic 110s. This is a really fun skate. I'm not gonna lie, I had really mixed expectations for this skate. Full disclosure, they sent these to me for review. So I didn't pay for these skates. I think when I got them, they were around $190. That is an amazing price for this skate. I don't know how much they are now. I don't know that they make this model anymore. This is an amazing skate though. It is a hard shell free skate with the 45-degree ratchet buckle, so you can really tighten your foot in there. Add to that, it has a dual injection, I don't know what you would call that, lacing area, kind of like the Fifth Element, where it has this softer plastic on the top, harder plastic on the bottom, so it's protected and supportive, but this bottom area really sucks in your foot. I love that feeling. And then this ratchet buckle and then the regular buckle, my feet don't wiggle around at all with these skates. It also has an extruded 110, 165 frame. So 110 is the size of the wheels. These are Compass 110s. Again, full disclosure, I own Compass. These are the Carborough wheels with the 50-50 bearings. They're smooth, they fast, they feel great. The 110 is the size of the wheel. So if you're from an aggressive background, you're used to like 56 millimeter wheels or 60 millimeter wheels. This is a 110 millimeter wheel. It's a big wheel. Why would you want a big wheel like that? Well, the bigger the wheel, the longer you can coast. And the longer you can coast, the more strides you can get. And the more strides you can get, the faster you can get. So they make 125 millimeter wheels. I actually have a set over here. I don't bring this one out very much. These are my Power Slide Swells. These aren't my favorite. They don't fit super great. They're really off center and they feel like I'm kind of leaning in. But I use these as an example because this is what a trail skate looks like. This wheelbase is like, what does it say? 12.5 inches. I don't know how long this is in millimeters, but 12.5 is a long wheelbase. These are 125 millimeter wheels. So 125 diameter. These things are amazing to skate. If you think about coast, and the bigger the wheel, the longer the coast. If you're skating aggressive and you drop in on a mini ramp with like 55 millimeter wheels, you'll go really fast and then slow down really fast. Like if you ever watched some of those old ASA comp or the old X Games where you see people just striding their ass off because they're skating so hard because their wheels don't have any coast to them. They're skating like anti-rocker with 56s or something like that. you have to skate really hard to maintain your speed. With skates like these, if you skate really hard, all you're going to do is go faster and faster and faster because you maintain your speed easier because these wheels are big. Problem with these is I felt like I was way too tall. This 125 is a tall wheel, and this wheelbase is like longer than my arm. So it's extremely long. It doesn't feel good to skate. It is great for skating in a straight line, and that's about it. They do make I think it's called the City frame, where it's a shorter frame. So it's like the 255 millimeter or 260 millimeter. So these wheels are closer together. That's the frame that I recommend. This thing is just, it's very purpose built. If all you're doing is skating straight in a line, this is the one that you want. If you want any sort of maneuverability, this thing is too long. Which is why I love these. So these are a 110. I don't know what the wheelbase is for this. What is this? 3 by 110, 9.8 inches. It's weird that they have inches. Like, why is that the standard? It's a 110 millimeter wheel with a 165 millimeter mount, and then they put 9.8 inches on the frame. It's like a 250, so it's a really good wheelbase for me. You'll notice that the middle wheel is actually mounted a little bit back, closer to the third wheel. The reason for that is when you're doing turns, you want these two wheels to be close to each other. And if you're doing turns, you're usually not on your toes, you're on your heels. So if you're on your heels, the weight is going to be on these two wheels versus these two wheels. So these two wheels being closer means that you have a closer pivot point. You'll be able to make sharper turns. So really good design. I saw them on my Powerside Imperials with the Pleasure Tools frames. I love these frames. These are super solid. They're extruded aluminum. They're really nice. Again, full disclosure, they sent them to me, and I don't know that you can buy these anymore. Maybe you can. But I highly recommend these. They're a really fun skate, and I wouldn't go any bigger than 110. I think if you're doing big wheel skating, 110 is an amazing size. You really don't want to go any bigger than that. I think it just gets tall. It gets like the acceleration starts to become a problem. 110's where it's at. I do like hundreds, but I think if you were doing just this sort of skate, I think 110s. If you were doing like a Trimax, if you were doing a ground control frame, like, do I have it? Oh, I have it over here. Here. So like if you're riding anything UFS, I think 100 is good. This is actually a 110 frame, but these are 100 millimeter wheels. This is an amazing setup. I actually absolutely love this. Again, 50-50 bearings with the Compass 100 millimeter wheels. You could put this on any UFS skate. The problem with this though is that it's still very tall. So if you don't have a skate with this 45-degree buckle, it's gonna feel kind of weird, like your foot's gonna move around a lot. It's not a good feeling. Anyway, big wheels are fun. I don't know that you need anything bigger than this. I don't know that you need anything this big if you're riding a UFS boot. But if you have a specialized boot like this, or like the Imperial, or like the Next, or like the Swell, you'll be just fine with 110. And I do recommend the 110 over the 125. I think that the 110 is the perfect balance of size and speed. Anything bigger, just not necessary. And hundreds are fine, but it might just not, you get a little bit more of acceleration, but you won't really notice that much. I think 110 is the sweet spot for doing big wheel skates like this. So it was a really fun skate. I had a really great time going out today. I haven't done the big wheels in a while, and I've never done that skate. I'm going to go back tomorrow to pick up the car and skate on over and pick it up. It's getting really hot here in North Carolina. It's in the 90s again, which means it's humid and just dripping. I'll probably be dripping by the end of the show. I do have a fan going, so at least I got a little air circulation in here. But it is a rough summer here in North Carolina. So that's my big wheel setup. For aggressive, this is the one that has been very controversial in the last couple of weeks. I am on the Them 909s, but I am now on the Rain V3 liners. So, what to say about the Them 909? So first of all, I am finishing up my review, and I should have the review out on Saturday. Unfortunately, I will not be skating on Saturday. I don't have the time. We're going out to the beach, so I'm not going to have the time to do a full video, but I am bringing my 360 cam with me when I go to the beach. So expect some beach footage sometime next week. It is a vacation. I'm bringing my laptop so I can do a few edits and stuff. I'm not going to be doing regular work. That doesn't mean I won't be doing back to blading stuff and fitty work though. I am going to be leaving my aggressive skates here. I don't know that I really want to try to track down a skate park out there or some ledge or something like that. I'm just going to go out and have fun and explore the city. That's one of the things that I love the most about rollerblading. I could put my skates on and just get lost for an hour and just go have a lot of fun exploring the little nooks and crannies of a city that I don't necessarily go to all the time. If I am skating aggressive though, this is an amazing skate. I absolutely love these 909s. If you liked the 908s, you're going to love the 909s. They are better in a lot of ways and not so good in a lot of ways. I will get into it fully in my review, but let me say that the main difference between the 908s and the 909s for me, this lacing area made a big difference. So I think that the fingers in the 908 were a really good idea. Do I have my 908s here? I do. Oh, I don't. I don't know where they are. I thought I had them. The 908s have these little fingers that wrap around. And when they wrap around, they suck your foot in and they get really tight around your foot. And that is a great feeling. This doesn't have that very much. This little inset area doesn't do very much of that finger wrap feeling. It just kind of is there. And I've tried tightening them up a lot. I don't think it makes much of a difference, to be honest. It's definitely, this is a much stiffer material, at least in this mounting area, than the 908s were, which means that this is kind of more cosmetic than anything else. It doesn't make a huge difference to the actual functionality. The sole plate itself is the same. I think if you liked the sole plates on the 908s, you're going to like the sole plates on the 909s. I didn't mind them. I wish that they were a little bigger. You can kind of see where I'm grinding. It's a little close to the edge. I'm not a great skater. So for me, trying to do grinds with this is, you know, it's a big sole area, but it's not a huge sole area. Like if you compare it to the sway, where are my sway sole plates? Oh, where'd my sway sole plates? I think they're inside. I will compare it to the 7. They're very similar. If you compare it to the 7, this is the USD 7. You can see this sole plate is just massive. And it's like a full knuckle difference. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can flip it over. And where the main difference comes is in the heel. It's like a ½ an inch difference. The heel is just so much bigger. And that really helps for people like me who have a hard time locking on soles sometimes, especially skating coping. I skated my mini ramp and I didn't fall too much. I think I did pretty well, but definitely more, I have to be more focused when I'm doing sole tricks with the 909s than with any other skates. I don't know that that's a bad thing. I think it's a experience thing. I think that this is a skate that if you know what you're doing, you're going to really like. If you're a beginner, this is going to be a harder skate for you than a USD 7, a USD Swell, or a Sway, a Razor's SL, a Rossi's Fifth Element, anything with a big sole plate. This is going to be a little bit more difficult. I don't know that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying as an objective data point, that this sole plate is more difficult to do sole tricks than any other because it's a little bit bigger. You slip off a little bit more. In saying that though, I didn't have any problem doing any of my tricks. So I think that these are great skates for me at my level. You are probably a better skater than I am. You will probably have no problem with these skates. You will probably think that these are the best sole plates. And you might be right. I do like the Royales, especially, let me get the other skate. I do like the Royales, especially with this Rain V3 liner. So I talked a little bit about the Rain V3 and the struggle that I had with the intuition. And I don't need to get to it fully again. But here's those intuitions. I don't need to super get into it, but these are the liners that came with it. These are the Intuition Mediums, collab. So these are not the V3 Intuitions. These are the them Intuitions. These are the Rain V3s. I bought these for the Razors SL and for the REMs, the HR 2.5s. These are supposed to be the same size liner. These are a little bit bigger. So this is a size 10 US. The them medium is rated for size 9-10 US feet. This is much bigger. This is like a whole 1.5 centimeters longer, and it has a neoprene toe. Now, I know that the Intuition isn't designed for that, and I am looking to punch out this toe a little bit to make it a little bit more comfortable for me. But I feel like I got a little bit misled, to be honest. All of the marketing and everything that I heard was that the new 909s were a little bit bigger, like 5 millimeters bigger on the inside. And obviously I thought, well, that means that there's more room. That means that my foot will fit even better than it did in the 908. What I didn't consider was that this liner is going to be the same. So it really doesn't matter how big the shell is. If the liner doesn't fit you, your foot's not going to fit. That's not to say that my foot doesn't fit that skate really well, though. So swapping out the liner for a Rain V3, and I'm loving the skates again. These are just the perfect liner for me, I think. They fit really well. They've got a nice slim cut. I feel like the foot insole is perfect. It's not too much padding, which I don't need. I don't need a big cushion thing. I'm not jumping off of roofs or anything like that. It's got really good support on the sides, but not too much support. This thing has so much support. Like this little thing that is usually replaceable in the V2s is not replaceable here. So it keeps your foot super stable, which is really great for a lot of people. I don't think that's me. I think that for me, this Rain V3 is the right liner. And a lot of people agree with me, a lot of people disagree with me. That's what's so awesome about the options that we have right now. I think that liner technology has come a really long way, that you can find a liner that fits your foot perfectly. And so long as you find a good boot that you like, that performs really well, that will fit your liner, you just slap it on in there and you're good to go. Not a lot of skates come as shell only though. Isn't that weird? I guess there's margins and everything. They have to make some money on the liners, and that makes, maybe they wouldn't make a ton of money just selling shell only. But I absolutely love the them 909s now. I think they're a great skate. I was able to do boot down royales on my mini ramp. Felt great. I was able to do top soles. I was able to do backside a mistrial, which is a trick that I have never done on coping, but I was like, hey, I can do this. I feel confident in these skates. I didn't have any wiggle with the skates. They felt super responsive. I didn't have any toe pain. I didn't have any problems missing sole tricks. Everything slid properly. Everything locked properly. I don't know if it was a mental, I was focused more on it or what, but I definitely felt like I was skating really solid with those skates. I'm going to try to go out again. I probably will post my review this weekend, but I'm going to go out again and try it with the cuff rocker down. So these cuffs, interestingly, do have an inside, like a rocker system. So you can unscrew these bolts and rocker the cuff down, which will make it a little bit less stiff, a little more squishy for a cuff. They liken it to skating a Majestic 12 when your cuff is rockered down, and the them 908 when your cuff is rockered up. And I absolutely loved skating the Majestic 12s. The fit was a little weird, and they were the V13, but still. I was able to do all of my tricks with those skates. I think that cuff is a really good one, but I was able to do all of my tricks with the 908. So I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to really tell a difference. I do want to give it a try. I don't know that it really needs to be in the review. I like the way that they are, and I want to make sure that I get this review out. So I'm going to put the review out if, for whatever reason, this changes something and now they're amazing skates, I'll just update the review. I would love to hear what you ride though. If you are riding 909s, do you prefer the cuff up or down, and why? I've heard a lot of people on each side. I don't know that I'm going to be able to tell the difference. I don't know that I'm good enough to be able to tell that this cuff is down, so I'm going to have a little bit more flex or not, which makes reviews a little difficult, to be honest. I know what I know, and I review as I review, and I think for me, that's my audience. Like, you guys that watch are not the best skaters. I'm sure a lot of you are. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure a lot of you are. But I feel like you're kind of at my level where it's like, we're really confident skaters, but we're not amazing skaters. We're not going to be able to tell a slight difference in the skates, but we know what we know and we know what we like. And I know that I like these skates. I think they're great. I think if you were in the market for a pair of skates, I know you can't buy them now, but the pre-orders for the whites, I think they just started. So I think they come in July. So if you did not get in on the first run of the grays and the blacks, the whites are coming in July. I love these skates. I think they're great. It is a suitable successor to the 908. I think anybody who skated the 908 is going to love these skates. And yeah, kudos to them and John and everybody involved for coming out with a really big release. I think this was a huge investment of time and money, and it's totally paid off. All right, let me get some water and I'll check for some questions. If you have a question, I will repeat, because I know a lot of people join a little late. If you have a question, I would love to hear from you. I can't read every single comment, but I can read every question. If you have a question, tag me, say @BackToBlading in the chat, and I will see it. It will get highlighted in yellow, and I'll be able to see it. I can't read every single comment. There's like 70 some people in there chatting right now. It gets a little busy and a little difficult to follow. And my computer kind of sucks, so it's hard to keep up with the chat when it scrolls by. I don't know why YouTube doesn't make a better chat interface for us, but who knows. All right. Nathan Chase says, love your focus on helmets. Thank you, Nathan. It is something important. I'll leave it at that. I hope everybody wears one. Danny Bello, just got Aeon 60. I'm loving them, but the cuff are too stiff for me. Any good suggestions on a new cuff for the Aeon? Interesting question. Aeon. So these are the Aeon 72s. These are the Aeon 60s. I don't know a ton about cuffs, to be honest. I don't know what cuffs are compatible with these. If somebody in the chat can help Danny out, that would be great. I know that the color of the plastic can sometimes help with the different flex of the cuff. I don't know which cuff is best. I have had not a ton of problems with the flex of these cuffs. I've never skated this cuff. This is brand new. I have skated this cuff with both this 72 and with this 60, and I didn't have any noticeable issues. Not to say that you wouldn't, and not to say that I am just exaggerating or something like that. I didn't see that there was a huge problem with it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a good answer for that. If somebody in the chat helps, that would be great. You might want to look at the sway. I don't know that the sway will fit it. Where's my sway? Oh, here they are. These are actually the Zoom, and they do not have a replaceable cuff. It does not look like the same. Maybe it is the same. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably a question that if you don't get an answer from the chat, I would give a shop a call. I always try to pimp out the shops. So they love talking skates, and they have all the cuffs. They probably have access to everything at their fingertips. They can tell you what fits and what doesn't. So I would definitely pick a shop, support that shop, give them a call, and ask what they would recommend. They're probably super knowledgeable, way more knowledgeable than I am about that sort of stuff. And I love supporting shops. So give your shop a call, give them an email, give them a message on Facebook or whatever, and see if they can help you out. I would probably do that. But thank you so much for asking, and thanks for watching. And I'm glad you like your Aeons. I always forget to talk about the Aeons sizing issues. So there are some sizing issues with the Aeons. I think if you have I was going to say fat foot. If you have a larger foot, sometimes it can squeeze on the top. And that is frustrating because they are such great skates otherwise, and there's really no alternative. I've seen a lot of people with that heat up with a hairdryer or with a heat gun and shove a baseball in there or a tennis ball or something like that you can roll out and make that area a little bit more forgiving. But there's really, I don't know, if you can't make it work, there's not an alternative. The Aeon is its own thing, and it's good to hear that you like them. All right, Cosmic Archaeologist asking for a helmet. Leave a comment in the video. I'm not going to be able to look at the live stream, but I do want to give you a helmet. There's comments in the video. Just leave a comment and say, I want a helmet. I go through at the end of, usually at the beginning, at the end, and I'll find one at random on the next one. I didn't do it tonight because we had it was my kid's graduation, and I got a little busy towards the end, and then the dogs got a little crazy. So I usually leave a comment right before I start this video. I did not this week, but I will after this video. And then you've got all 2 weeks to leave a comment so that everybody who's watching and everybody listening on the podcast can leave a comment if you need a helmet. Just make sure that you leave a comment there. Don't leave a comment in the live chat because I'm not going to be able to remember. Say it goes to you, Brandon. Thank you so much. Yes, leave a comment in the thing. That would be cool. Nathan Chase, what's up with the curb? Do you mean that PVC box? That thing looked perfect. No. So the curb that I was talking about was that ledge at the kids' playground that I'm probably never going to go back to. It is a brand new ledge that I was trying to get ready. I'm not very good at setting up ledges. I have not had to set up a ledge in a long time. I do have a PVC box that I have not been able to build yet. Just haven't had the time. I wasn't expecting to be this busy shipping orders. Again, that's not a bad problem to have, but I've been so busy shipping orders, I haven't had a lot of time on weekends to actually sit down and work on the ramp. Phase 5, if you've been following my ramp building, my backyard skate park project, Phase 5 is to put in some flat, put in a quarter pipe, and then have that PVC box so that I can grind that, come off of the quarter pipe, grind that again. I've done it before, but it was just this proof of concept to see if I could make it work. I know that it works now. I got the wood for it. I just need to find the time. All right, looking for some comments. Vernon Gonzalez, not related to blading, but what cameras, gears do you use when you're doing your videos or vlogs? Good question. Right now I have a Logitech Logi HD webcam. It is a great camera if you can find them. I know there's a webcam shortage right now with everybody working from home and doing the Zooms and things like that. But this Logitech HD camera is amazing. It was like $80 and it's perfect. Plugs in with the USB. It records 1080p, which is great. I stream at 720p, and even then my connection is a little difficult to catch up. I need to run an Ethernet cable in here so that I have a hard copper connection. I'm doing it over wireless. I have a pretty good connection, and I have a router on the other side of this wall, and I have a gig internet, so I should be fine, but I think Ethernet would be a better option. When I'm out doing my vlogs, I use a GoPro Hero 8 Black. It was like a $350 camera. I do have a media mod case that you plug the GoPro in that gives you a few options. Most important is it has an auxiliary jack so I can plug in an external microphone. So I use an external mic, a Rode video mic, and I put it on the little shoe mount on top of it. So I've got the GoPro with the mic on top, and that's how I get all of my audio and video when I'm out shooting. I do have a little selfie stick that I put it on with a little handle at the bottom so I can make a tripod out of it, and that's how I set up the tripod around, and then I zip it up and I walk around and I talk and then I push it down and I set it up and I start recording again. That Hero 8 Black has been amazing. It is a fairly small investment compared to the DSLRs that you'll get, the big cameras with the big lenses. And I don't feel like I'm too worried about it getting stolen or getting bumped. Those are the two biggest things. If you have a big camera out there, you got this big lens that people are going to kick by accident, or they're going to say, oh, that's a big camera, I want it. Little GoPro, people don't really care that much about it. But the quality is great. It's good enough for me, and I've got, a bunch of people liking my videos. So if it's good enough for that, it's good enough for you. I don't have any complaints about my quality. And I think audio is super important. Getting a really nice external microphone, super important. Right now I'm recording off of a little microphone up here. It's just this little boom mic that I use. And then I've got that connected through USB, so both of them are going into the computer. And that's really it. I have a nicer camera that I use when I do my reviews for the end credits when I'm talking and doing my wrap-up. And then I have a nice microphone that I use for podcasting that I also use for voiceovers. And yeah, that's my whole setup. It's probably like around $500 for the whole thing that I've got, assuming that you've got a computer that you don't mind using. Maybe $800 with the lights. I do have some lights and stuff in here to help illuminate so that people can see me. But otherwise, most important thing is just go out and have fun shooting. You can do a ton with your iPhone. And that's what a lot of people do. Get a little tripod for your iPhone, get iMovie, start shooting videos, put them together, and publish and get some feedback. That's how I started. That's what I did for many, many years. And, when I started back to blading, that's what I did. It was the easiest way to do a video because it was the camera that I had. Great question, though. I don't mind talking about camera stuff because I am learning just as much as anyone else. Mike Check says, what is the shirt you are wearing? This is the Helmet Initiative shirt. So the Helmet Initiative, it is a shirt that they sent me. I love wearing the shirt of people who support me and support the community. So if you've got a cool shirt that you would love me to wear and a good initiative that you want me to support, get in contact. You know how to reach me. They sent me this shirt. They are selling some of these shirts. All proceeds to these go to the Helmet Initiative. So everything that they make gets reinvested back into the initiative so they can give away more helmets. You can get more information about that at the Facebook group, I think. If you click on one of the links, it goes to a page that has information about ordering shirts. Maybe it's on the website as well. I could put a link in the description afterwards. But yeah, this is from Helmet Initiative. It's a cool shirt. I think they're doing good work. So thanks for asking. FNN Wolfie says, what are some good wheels that last a long time? Doesn't matter on the wheel type because like all of them also, Epstein didn't kill himself. All right. That's fair. Probably true. So wheels, I don't know if you're talking about aggressive or rec. Typically, if you're looking for longer lasting wheels, the rule of thumb is you want a harder wheel will last longer. A softer wheel will wear down quicker. The harder wheel will be a little slippery. The softer wheel will be grippy. That's kind of the basic rule of thumb. You need to try them all out, and every manufacturer makes a different formula. So a 90A wheel from one company will be a different feeling than a 90A wheel from another company. It makes it hard. It makes it hard to go out and find a wheel that works for you without spending a ton of money trying a bunch of wheels that suck. I can say that most wheel companies are going to be really good about replacing wheels that suck. So if you have a chunk, if you have a brake, if you have a cracked core or a hub, get in contact with the shop you bought them from or get in contact with the wheel company. 9 times out of 10, they will replace them. Wheels are not an exact science. It is chemistry. And it is chemistry with a lot of moving parts. There are bubbles, there are humidity issues, there are curing times. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. It happens to the best wheel companies. It happens to the worst wheel companies. Everybody's going to have a bad wheel from here or there. And the good wheel companies are the ones that will stand behind their products and say, yeah, they sucked. Sorry, we'll replace them. I think most wheel companies in our industry will do that. I wouldn't have any problem recommending any wheel out there. I think that any of the wheels that you'll see, any of the riders riding, find a rider that you like and see what wheels they're on. For recreational, I don't know a ton about recreational. I've had a little bit of experience testing wheels. Full disclosure, I do own Compass, which makes really great recreational wheels, 72 all the way up to 110. We kind of market ourselves as big wheels for aggressive skaters. So if you really know your wheels, and if you're really like the Matter Atom, like that high-end wheel, that's not us. Like, we're not going to make expensive wheels that you're going to be you're going to be able to tell the difference between this little urethane and it's going to shave off a little bit of time on your stride. Like, that's not our market. Our market is people who just want to go out and have fun skating. We're also in the same market with Hydrogen. Hydrogen is a really good wheel. Rollerblade makes them. They're super reasonably priced. They make all the different sizes. They're the wheels that usually come on the Rollerblade brand skates. So you can get Hydrogen wheels, and they're great. Undercover is another great brand for that middle of the row. They're probably a little pricier than the Hydrogen wheels, and they're about the same as Compass, maybe a little bit pricier, but about the same as Compass. They're going to be really high quality wheels as well. As far as aggressive, 50/50 Wheels obviously is my company and the ones that I love. If you're not interested in that, I love the Conjure wheels. I love the Sick Urethane wheels. I love the Undercover wheels. Those are all poured by the same company. So it's a really good formula and a really good company that makes those wheels. I've heard a lot of great things about Red Eye. I've heard a lot of great things about, what was the other company? Oh, I can't think of the wheel company. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Sorry. I can't think of Eulogy. I've heard a lot of great things about Eulogy. I've heard a lot of great things about Red Eye. I've never ridden any of those wheels, though. I have skated Undercover wheels, Conjure wheels, Sick Urethane wheels. I can vouch for those as being great. I've skated 50/50 wheels. I can vouch for those being great. There are a lot of companies out there to try, though. Most important thing for me, find the right profile that fits your skating style and find the right hardness that fits your build. If you're a bigger dude or girl, you're probably going to want a harder wheel. If you're a lighter person, a lighter skater, you can get away with a softer wheel. Finding that balance, that's where you're really going to find a really good wheel, and it'll last as long as it can. You want to get as hard as you can before it starts not feeling good, and then that's where you'll find that perfect sweet spot. It's a fun problem to experiment with. I know that it can be expensive. I would give it a shot and just find some wheels that you think you like and set that baseline and see if you can get better, and just keep experimenting. Wheel testing is a lot of fun. Definitely look at different profiles, though. As soon as you find that size that you like, find different profiles. You'll see that there's a huge difference in the profile of the wheel, from a square profile to a bullet profile to a rounded profile. Everything has little differences, niceties about the profiles that I didn't realize until I started really testing them. Great question. I don't talk about wheels that often, I guess. More frames and boots, I think. All right, let me get into the main event. I'm hoping that I'm not building it up too much. It's not like it's, some Deshies or something crazy rare. But I did get a nice delivery from my friend Mark. So Mark is a good friend of mine. He is in Minnesota, and Minnesota is the home of rollerblade. And that is where you get a ton of rollerblade brand skates up there. And it was perfect timing because there's a guy who does these posts on Facebook and Instagram about the history of things. And he did the history of Chris Edwards. and it was like a 3-part history, and it was super, super interesting. I learned a lot about Chris. I've listened to a bunch of the podcasts, but seeing the pictures of the skates, I was kind of involved in the industry, and then I was super involved in the industry, and kind of going in and out. I didn't know everything that was going on. Anyway, Mark sent me these skates, and funny enough, he has a new project that he got a pair of old rollerblade Patrons that he's been dissecting and trying out. And it seems like there's a lot of rollerblade brand skates up there that he's able to find, which is awesome because I'm a big fan of rollerblade. Not their new stuff as much. New Jack Team is okay, but the Solo seems like I missed that whole thing. I think the Solo was doing some interesting things, but anyway, these are something that was missing from my collection that is kind of a sibling of the rollerblade TRS that I love that melted in my hands. It is the rollerblade boxcar. And I hope that wasn't anticlimactic. So this is... what to say about this skate? So the rollerblade boxcar, this is the same boot shell as the skate that I grew up skating. So the rollerblade TRS, which was the first real skate that people started doing aggressive tricks on, was using this shell. And you can see it... oh no, did it melt away? I have it. I don't know where it went. Where's my TRS? My super suit. I don't know where it went. It's way over here. Nope. I don't know where it went. This is the skate the boot that started it all. So this is the rollerblade TRS, but with a slightly different frame. So the original rollerblade TRS, the one with the purple and the green and the blue, that was the main skate that people used back in the days when aggressive skating was first invented, first grounded. People started doing grinds. This was kind of like the third version of that skate. So the first version being the TRS, the second version being the Tarmac CE. The Tarmac was basically the TRS, but it came with a grind plate. Nothing super special about that. But it was the first time that Rollerblade said, yes, we believe you. Aggressive is going to be a thing. We want to support aggressive. We think that what you're doing is cool. We're going to have a skate for it. So they came out with the Tarmac CE. All that it was a heel strap and a grind plate on a TRS. Nothing special. This was the skate that came after version 2 of the Tarmac. So the second version of the Tarmac had very similar look, but it had this crazy grind plate that had these little, like, you can kind of see on the frame where the grind plate would have been. It had these little, like, waves on the bottom. I don't know what they were thinking, but you could do, like, channel 1 and channel 3 grinds while still being on a grind plate. So this frame was designed for that. It was a stronger frame. It had internal arch support. So this was a super strong frame versus the old frames that was super flexy. It came with a grind plate. If I remember correctly, it came with a Scribe grind plate. And it came with some blank wheels, which were like 60 millimeter and 57. So technically anti-rocker, but it had 57 millimeter wheels on the inside. And yeah, it was so... This was the beginning of Rollerblade making non-Chris Edwards aggressive skates. This was definitely an aggressive skate. This was right before they started working on the Rhino boot. The Rhino boot is the one that the Patron is based off of. I think I have mine over here. So this was the Patron. This is a pretty advanced tech skate. But this was the second version. This was the first boot that Rollerblade made that was designed from the ground up for aggressive skating. And they came out with this as the Dirk. The Dirk was the first one of these. They came out with the Dirk, they came out with the CI5, they came out with the Daytona, They came out with the Randy Spicer. They came out with the Patron. They came out with a bunch of these skates. Swindlers, I think. But this was the next skate after this. After these, they came out with the Access, which was the first skin skate, the first UFS skate. They did come out with the soft ones. What were they? What were they called? Canvas, I think they were called. Where it was basically this, but they had this area cut out so that you could have this like cloth area. It was kind of weird. But yeah, so this was like a rhino. This was the whole point. I think Eric Schrein talked about it in a podcast that they wanted this skate to look like an animal, and the animal was a rhino. They wanted it to be protected, armored. A lot of cool little design cues and nice, like, tough toe and stuff like that. Really amazing skates. But yeah, this is a pretty crazy piece of history. It's in really great shape. I'm super happy to have it. I always love talking about my old rollerblades, like the old skates that started it all. And I always have a hard time because my TRS keep crumbling when I pick them up. This feels like it's in a really good shape. This boot, if you compare it to the current modern day Majestic 12, so this technically is a Valo V13, but it is a Majestic 12. You can see it's the same shell, which is crazy. This was 1995. This was 2018. Same shell. So this boot, you can see the same styling, same everything. This boot was designed by Rossi's, made by Rossi's. You can see the little thing in the back, the Valo here, the rollerblade here. So they stopped using this and they moved over to the Rhino. That was when they said, all right, Rossi's, we're out of there. We're not going to use your shell anymore. This is probably one of the last ones. They did make the chocolate, and they made the, what was it called? The chocolate and the Troopers, I think. Those were some of the other ones. But yeah, I'm really happy to have these. Thanks, Mark, for sending them out. These are really great finds. 6mm axles, too. So they used to have 6mm axles instead of 8mm. That was the standard. And that was kind of the recreational thing. These were rockerable, so you could move them up and down, which I don't know why anybody would want to rocker them, but maybe to skate faster, I don't know. But yeah, really cool. Anyway, I appreciate you, Mark. Thanks so much for sending. And yeah, if you have any crazy old skates, I'm always looking if I can get them off of your hands. Let me know, send me a message. I always love looking at old skates. I do have a pretty good collection, so don't get rid of anything that you don't want. But if you have skates that you want to get rid of, that you want people to see on the show, get in contact, let me know, and we'll figure something out. All right, quick drink. I'm going to check the comments and then wrap it up. All right, Eric Walquist. Which G-Form knee pads do you recommend? The Pro Rugged Knee Guard or the Pro X2 knee pads? I've tried neither of them. Again, full disclosure, G-Form sends me stuff to review. And they do have an affiliate link if you are interested in getting, I think it's 15% off your G-Form stuff. You can go to backtoblading.com/Gform. You can get a link to all of the pads that I wear from G-Form, and you can get a code for 15% off, which is kind of cool. I have not tried the X2s. Those are the ones that I'm interested in. I want to get a pair so that I can give them a shot. I don't know about the Pro Rugged Knee Guard. I haven't seen those. The ones that, excuse me, I keep hiccuping. The ones that I've used are the knee shin pads. And those are the ones that, if this is my knee, they cover the knee and then they come about halfway down your shin. So it's really good if you want to wear them under your pants. It's really good if you want a little bit of shin protection, but you're not doing like handrails and shinning yourself. It's not going to replace a shin guard. but it's going to supplement it. It's also not going to replace a knee pad. So it is not designed for, it's like wearing a helmet versus wearing a sweat saver. It might help you if you're wearing a sweat saver helmet. If you just bump your head a little bit, it'll be fine. It's like having a bumper on your car, you know? It's going to be fine. You're driving, 5 miles an hour or whatever, and you bump into a fire hydrant or a tree or something, you'll be fine. But if you get into an accident, if you fall down really bad and you hit your knee and you're wearing the G-form stuff, that's not what it's for. Like, you're going to hurt yourself. It's for getting rid of the shock, getting rid of the scrapes and the bruises. If you feel like you're in a position where you're going to really hurt yourself, first of all, reconsider your options. You're probably old. You probably shouldn't be doing that shit anymore. But reconsider your options. But wear the proper knee pads. Wear something with a plastic shell. Wear something with padding underneath, thick padding. Like, make sure that it can handle the fall that you're putting it into. If all that you're looking for is a little bit of bumps and bruises protection, G-Form is the perfect company for that. I love all of their products that I've tried. I have the crash pads, I have the knee pads, I have the shin guards. Everything that I've used has been great. It's held up well. The knee shin pads I bought maybe 3 years ago, and they've started falling apart a little bit, but I wear them at least once a week, and I wash them after every session. They smell fine. Few of the little pad bubbles have fallen off, but for the most part, they still work great. And any pads that you can have for 2 years plus is a pretty good investment. Of the two that you asked about, I think the X2 are the ones that I'm most interested in. I've never tried either of them though, so I don't have a recommendation. I would look into the X2s, but simply because it looks good. Thomas Romeo, what about Famous wheels? Good question. Famous wheels are interesting, just like these new Apex wheels from Undercover. What makes those wheels interesting is the inside of the wheel, the core area, is metal. So I think they're aluminum. They are anodized, so I would assume they're aluminum. But the inside of a wheel, so this area, this hub area, usually is a harder plastic, so it's a molded plastic. And then they put polyurethane on the outside, which gives it the nice grip and the nice bounce that you expect from a rollerblade wheel. What they've done is they've made the inside metal. And what that means is that you can have a bigger core. It doesn't mean you can have a bigger core, but their cores are usually pretty big. So they have a very low tire, and they have a big core. Their cores are very hard, which means that the speed that you get is super fast. I've seen people just rave about Famous wheels because they skate so fast. They're super responsive. They're really great wheels. However, as soon as you start wearing down the wheels, that outer layer goes away, they kind of fall apart. That's, again, from what I've heard. They are designed for skating indoors. They are designed for skating on a smooth skate park or a wooden ramp. As soon as you skate on rougher terrain, you start wearing them down, and they're not designed for that. They will fall apart. I think they compare them to race cars. You wouldn't take your race car on the freeway or on city streets or drag racing or something like that. Like an F1 car designed to be on a special road. Those Famous wheels are designed to be on special ramps. Stay on wood, stay in a skate park, you're going to love it. Go anywhere else, it's not going to be great. I think the Apex is going to perform equally as well. They're going to be really responsive, really fast. I don't know what urethane they're using. I don't know if they're being poured at AE&D like the other Undercover wheels, or if they're being poured at their other location, which I don't know where it is. I'm trying to fight back a sneeze. Excuse me. I don't know where that location is, but I've heard good things about the Undercover team wheels. I don't know what formula they're using. I would gather that they're going to have the same problems, though. There's not a lot of urethane in there. If that urethane starts wearing, it's probably going to wear pretty quickly. The tire is so small and the hub is so big that as soon as you wear a little bit down, there's just not enough urethane left, and it's going to wear really fast. And you're going to hit the hub, and it's just going to be game over. So I don't recommend Famous wheels, but I have never skated Famous wheels. So I think if you are a very specialized skater who knows what they're looking for, those might be the perfect wheels for your setup. They're not the perfect wheels for my setup. I like more cushion. I like a more enjoyable ride. I don't mind the slower ride, arguably slower ride, than I get with, a 90A wheel or something, like a 60 mil 90A wheel. If I can have a much more comfortable ride. My knees are old, and I don't like a lot of hard riding. So that's my take on Famous wheels and Apex wheels. I don't recommend them for new skaters. I recommend them for people who know what they're getting. Great question, though. I do need to get a set and try them out. I might get the Apex ones. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's hard to get stuff right now. Everything is kind of sold out. Olio, I have some old TRS that have never been skated. They are pretty stiff skates. Do you think a ground-controlled Tri 110 will work good on them, or should I invest in another boot? Most important thing when you're skating big wheels like these ground controls, or if you're skating like a Trimax, is that you have a good 45-degree strap on your boot. The rollerblade new jack, these are the ones that you can get now. These are the rollerblade new jacks. They are built around the TRS design, which is the Access design. They have the hard shell on the inside and the soft, like, liner sort of skin on the top. Really great skates. They do have a 45-degree strap. They will suck your foot in, and they will give you that support that you need. If all that you have are like these Majestic 12s, this is not going to be enough support. You're going to hurt your ankles if you're trying to skate big wheels with a skate like this. You really need something with a 45-degree strap. You could put a 45-degree strap in here, and that would help. But if you don't have one, get something that has a 45-degree strap. I don't know which TS you're talking about, so you might have lucked out and gotten one that will work well. Most important thing with big wheels, though, is make sure that you support your ankles, because you're walking around on high heels, and all of the fitness skates that you see are going to have a 45-degree strap for that reason. Getting an aggressive skate and putting big wheels on, big wheels is going to hurt your ankles if you fall wrong. So just be careful. I don't know which skates you're talking about, but I would imagine they'll be fine. And the best thing is that you can always buy the frames now. And because of UFS, if they don't work out, you can get something boot only that has a 45-degree buckle like these, or like some other, like some Seba or whatever, and put those frames on, and you're good to go. So it's not money lost. All right. Paul E. Power slide swell thoughts. Also 100 versus 110 for aggressive. I think I covered that, actually. The swell didn't fit me super well. And 110 versus 100 versus 110 for aggressive. Don't go bigger than 65 for aggressive. I think if you're trying to do something that it's not designed for, you're not going to have a fun experience. I know that you see, Eugen, and you see Sam Crofts and Nick Lomax doing crazy, unities and fish brains and 100 mil wheels, and that's not normal. Like, if they can do that, great, but I don't think that's what you're supposed to do. I think they're professional skaters that are being paid to ride those skates. If they had their druthers, if they wanted to go to a skate park, that's not the skates that they would pick. Nathan Chase, why haven't any other companies followed on the Aeon's path? That's a great question. The Aeons have gotten rave reviews from what I've seen. Is it lack of funds, lack of initiative? Is it a fad? A really good question. Deep question. I don't know why no other company has done it. So the Aeon is fairly new. Aeon came out in 2016, I think, 2017. It is fairly new. So it's not a a skate that has been out there on the market for a long time that people knew was going to be a big hit. If you look at somebody like Rollerblade or Rosie's or K2, K2. Remember when K2 used to make aggressive skates? Somebody like, one of the big companies, they could invest in a new skate mold, but it is very expensive. Like a mold per size, ballpark numbers, a mold for a size of a skate is like $10,000. If you have 4 shell breaks, so you've got a 5.6, you got a 7.8, you got a 9.10, you got an 11.12, that's 4 shell breaks. And all you big feet people get angry because there's no 13s. You know why now? That's 40 grand that they have to invest to get those shells made. And that's just to start the molds. That's not to say that they're going to be perfect out the box. They're going to have to do tweaks. They're going to have to do modifications. It's a very expensive investment to start molds. Where Powerslide and USD were super smart with the Aeon is they have one mold, but they have 3 skates. So this Aeon 72 is the same boot. This bottom section is actually a 72 mil wheel or frame, but they just swap out this bottom area and they can just have this whole section as its own part of the mold. So it's like an insert in the mold. So this top section is a mold. So they go through and they buy all of these top sections. Then they get the bottom section. They go, okay, we're going to make 72s. Give me the 72 bottom and sole. They put it together. They've got this full mold. They make the skates. And then they say, okay, let's try 60. So they take off the bottom. They still have the top. Take off the bottom. And they get the 60s. And they go pop, and they put it on. And you can see if you look at them, they're exactly the same until you get to the frame. And that's when things change. This bottom section is where they do that mold change. They slide it on, and they use a different mold. It is an amazing system. And that's why I always recommend the Aeons. I think that it is really well thought out. It is solid. It is light. It is cheap. And it is perfect for what we do. I think Razors invested in the Shift. I think that investment went south. I don't think that the Shift was the huge success they were hoping for. That was probably a very expensive investment as well. If you think of all the molds that they had to invest in, they had to get the boots, they had to get the sole plates, they had to get the mounting plate, they had to get the sliders, all of those little parts versus this, right? So I don't know what they're planning on doing with Razors. I know that Rollerblade has a new skate coming out, but I think it's based on the Solo. I don't think K2 is going to be an aggressive anytime soon. Rosie's just came out with the Fifth Element, probably a very expensive investment, and they don't have a size 11-12, right? It stops at size 10. So it's a tough market. It's a very expensive investment to create a new skate. That's probably why we don't see anybody else trying to do the Aeons. I'll bet there's some knockoff in China that does it. I bet if you went to Alibaba, you could find some skates that are like the Aeons that you could buy. Nobody in the US and nobody that I've seen rides those skates or sells those skates. I think the Aeon is the unique skate out there. It is a unique design, and I think they deserve all the success that they get. And I continue to recommend them. They're my number one skate for people getting back into it. Really great question. All right, I'm starting to lose my voice, so I'm going to log off. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. Remember the helmet giveaway. If you are interested in a helmet, please leave a comment in the video, not in the live chat. Leave a comment in the video and say, I want a helmet. I will pick somebody at random. If you left a comment in the last Gear Talk, I'm going to get to it right now. I'm going to go rest my voice, have a little wine, relax, find a comment at random that somebody left last episode, and find somebody to give a helmet away. If you have won a helmet in the past, I have the helmets now, so I'm going to be sending them out hopefully tomorrow. I hope I have some boxes that will fit them. I will get some boxes. I will send them out tomorrow. Thanks again to the Helmet Initiative. for supporting this show and supporting this initiative to get helmets on people's heads. Thanks also to the Slack, thanks to Conjure, and thanks to everybody else who has supported the helmet initiative that I'm working on. I gotta find a unique name now that I know that the helmet initiative is an actual thing. Thank you all so much for the support. It means a lot, and I think that we can get more people out there wearing helmets. I think if you go out there and you wear your helmet, again, I've said this before, if you're the only one out there wearing a helmet, it feels a little weird. Power through that. You can be the only person wearing a helmet. It's okay. If somebody wants to wear a helmet and they see you and you're the only one wearing a helmet and they say, I can wear my helmet because I'm not the only one. There's that guy and he's wearing a helmet. You can be that guy. Wear your helmet. Other people will see you. Other people will wear their helmets. We're all going to be wearing helmets by the end of 2020. I know it. I'm excited. I can't wait. Thank you all again so much, and I will see you in 2 weeks.